Hey y'all, we are back, module 2, lesson 3. So we're going to understand the minor arcanas because the minor arcanas are what tell the story. So same deal. Trust your first impressions on the cards. Use the keyword method. So I'm going to teach you how to memorize these without going crazy, okay? For all of the minor arcanas. Let's pull these guys out. So now that we've covered the major arcana, it's time to talk about the part of the tarot deck that intimidates almost every beginner, okay? So the minor arcana, this is where people see 56 cards and immediately panic because there can be two meanings to each card. They think, there's no way I can memorize all of this. But here's the good news. You don't need to memorize 56 separate cards. You only need to understand a few simple patterns. And once you understand those patterns, the entire deck is going to start making sense. Okay, so let me tell you what these really represent before we get started, okay? Remember what we learned earlier, right? Major arcana is major life lessons. Minor arcana is going to be everyday life. So these are going to be the cards that show up when we're talking about relationships, work, emotions, decisions, challenges, opportunities, personal growth. So the minor arcana is where most readings really spend their time because most life happens in day to day, right? So the easiest way to remember is the major arcana is the movie. And then the minor arcana are the scenes that are in the movie. I'm very visual. So we're going to learn the suits first. But before you learn each card, let's learn the suites, right? Suits. So cups. So we've got all of our cups here, okay? So the cups really represent our emotions. Now, some key words that represent cups, I would say, would be feelings, love, relationships, intuition, and your emotional experiences. So whenever these cards come out, you want to say, how does this feel emotionally? Next up, we do have the wands, okay, all of our wand cards. And the wands are going to represent action. So this is going to be representing passion, creativity, motivation, goals, and ambition. So the question that you want to ask during this would be, what action is being taken? Next, we have the swords. Okay, all of our sword cards here. And these are going to be our thoughts. And they represent communication, decisions, any conflicts, mindset, and truth. So that's when you want to ask when those come out, what's happening mentally? And then last we have the pentacles, okay? So the pentacles, this is the physical world. So this is going to represent what? Already you probably know, money, career, health, stability, foundation, resources. So what's happening in our physical world? Now, a cool little memory hack for the cups, you can think of the cups as the heart. For the wands, you can think fire right away. Swords, you can think the mind. And then pentacles, you can think material life. And then I'm going to give you a number. I'm going to give you a number system secret, okay? Here's where tarot becomes much easier. So every number has a general theme across all the suits. So if you see any aces, aces are going to represent the beginning. If you see any twos, that's going to represent some type of choice or partnership. If you see any threes, that's going to be considered growth. If you see any fours, that's going to be some form of stability. And if you see any fives, that's going to be some type of challenge. We've got 6. That's going to be some sort of harmony somewhere. If you see number 7, that's going to represent some type of assessment is going on. Any 8s are always going to be some type of movement. Okay. 9 is where you're near a completion. And then 10 is when it comes full circle and you actually complete it. Okay? So for example, let's say you got the 5 of cups. Okay? So you're going to look at what suit is this? Okay? 5 cups. Emotions. Okay? Because it's a cup. The number 5, right? And then you're going to see what type of challenge interpretation this could be. So emotions, 5s are challenges. So there's some emotional challenge that's happening. Simple, right? Let's take another one. Let's do 10 of Pentacles. So that's the suit, right? Pentacles. This is the material world, right? The number completion. It's a 10. So completion, right? And the interpretation is there's something in your material world that you have fulfilled or completed. You see how easy that becomes when you just read it like that with keywords and you put it together and it tells a story. Okay. So tell the story. Just like the major arcana, we start by telling the story. So let's say let's do another suit. This is a popular one. Any relationship reading, this one always comes out. 3 of Swords. What do you see? You see the heart. You see the swords. You've seen some type of pain imagery, right? So you can say someone experienced some emotional hurt. You don't need a guidebook to see that, right? Let's do 10 of Wands. So what do you see here? A person carrying burden, right? It looks heavy. They look tired. So someone is carrying too much. Again, story first, meaning second. That's the important rule I want to tell you guys. Okay. If you can tell the story, you're already reading tarot. People make it harder than what it is, you know? So to really trust your first impressions, when a card appears, notice your first reaction. What stands out? Look at the colors. Look at the facial expression. Look at the symbols. Is there a specific object? So let's say, for example, someone pulls, let's do 8 of Cups. Okay, first impression. It looks like somebody's walking away. That observation alone already points towards the card's message. So your intuition often speaks before your logical mind catches up. And this is why first impressions matter. Okay. Now I'm going to give you the keyword method. We're going to combine the suit and the number. All right. So for example, let's grab I like this card. 2 of Cups. So some type of partnership. Cups are emotions. So that equals some sort of emotional connection, right? Let's do 4 of Pentacles. I'm just picking random cards. 4 of Pentacles. So this is a pentacle, right? So 4, stability, some sort of resources. And look how they're holding something, right? They're holding the coin. So someone is holding on to security for dear life. Let's do another card. This is kind of fun doing it like this. 5 of Swords. Okay. Remember, swords, there could be some challenge. 5, right? It's a sword, so your thoughts. So there could be a conflict or a mental tension going on. Again, let's do 8 of Wands. I'll pick this one. So Wands, 8 is always like some sort of movement or action, right? With the wands. 8, movement, wands, action. So some fast movement is happening here. So the simple formula, you guys, is the suit and the number are the foundation of the reading. And then that builds the story using your intuition equals the full interpretation. I'm going to give you a bonus, okay? I'm going to give you a bonus on how to memorize these cards without losing your mind. because that's what everyone's afraid of. This is the part that every beginner wants. All right. So take it from me after reading over 10 years. Don't memorize 78 cards. Memorize the 4 suits, memorize the number meanings, and the major arcana keywords that we did on the last video. That's it. And then you also want to do a daily card practice. So I recommend pulling 1 card every day and ask, what story do I see? What emotion does this present? What keyword fits? And how did it show up today? So this is going to build your memory naturally. All right? Because you want to create some personal associations along with that. You'll remember cards better through experience than studying. So, for example, when a card appears during a life event, you'll never forget it. Ever. So today, I want you to realize something important. You're much closer to reading tarot than you think. Most beginners make tarot harder than it needs to be. Remember, first learn the suits, then learn the numbers, then tell the story, and then trust your first impression. And then use keywords as the anchor. That's the foundation of the strong tarot reading. You don't need perfect memory. You got to practice. The more you practice, the more words will come to mind for the meaning of the card. And the more readings that you do, the more the cards will just start speaking a language that you'll understand naturally. So, we've got homework. Okay? Your homework is going to be pull 1 card from each suit, like the cup, a wand, a sword, and a pentacle. Okay? And for each suit, write the suit meaning, write the number meaning, and write the story that you see. And also write your first impression, and then 1 keyword. That way, you're going to create your own interpretation before checking the guidebook. That's where the real tarot confidence begins. And I'll see you on the next one.